Hello and welcome to this another one of these uploads. G'day YouTube, it's Shane here, and today I'm going to continue talking about what I was talking about last week. And what I'm going to do is hopefully do more and more of these videos, hopefully daily, and talking about all sorts of things, mostly to get stuff off my chest. Some of the stuff that I've seen that just hasn't been kosher, should we say. Some of the stuff that upsets me, or things that you guys should be aware of. Basically like a rant video, but in a bit more of a relaxed format. And one of the things that I forgot to talk about last time, I forgot to mention last time, when I was talking about the attitude towards the forced Google Plus integration with YouTube. And the thing that I missed was that the reason Google had done it, like you've got Google Plus is this social media website that nobody really likes. That's fair enough to say, right? Nobody really likes it. So it became a thing of you're going to use it whether you like it or not. But one of the gimmicks that they used was to make it invitation only, so therefore it creates a demand, an artificial demand for this thing. I've got something that you don't have, so therefore you want it. Now, when they forced the integration into YouTube, you may have noticed that you ended up having multiple YouTube accounts, multiple Google accounts. So I had 2 YouTube channels previously, and now I've got several of them, and I've got 2 Google Plus accounts that I know of, and everybody has joined the other one. Now I've got my main one that I use for Google Hangouts. That's with my main account, my main YouTube channel, which is this one. But I also have another YouTube account attached to another email address, and that has its own Google Plus account. And people are joining that and expecting me to upload stuff or whatever, but I don't use it. I don't use Google Plus in general, really. It's great for sharing videos, but I don't really do it. This multiple account thing with, I'll just check the time, this multiple account thing with Google Plus, with the multiple YouTube accounts, that was done to bloat the numbers, so for the shareholders. So you can say, oh, look at this, everybody's tuned into Google Plus, it's a success. All these people that were on YouTube and they've now switched over to Google Plus, isn't it fantastic? Now the problem is there are people here that are subscribed to my channel that refuse to use Google Plus, and of course as a result of that they can leave comments, but I can't reply back to them. But the point that I was trying to get at was it is morally and ethically bankrupt, and I think very highly illegal for a company to falsely claim that they've got, X amount of subscribers or whatever, just for the stock market, to boost the share price on the stock market and stuff. It's morally and ethically bankrupt. And I had people defending their decision to do this while Google was systematically destroying the ability to respond to everybody here on YouTube. And they were saying that they weren't getting paid by Google to have an opinion. And who was I to question this, etc. But meanwhile, they're making lots and lots of money from YouTube. I don't care whether you get paid by your partner, through your network, or through YouTube, or through Google directly. You're still being paid by Google for your AdSense revenue. Now, you might be physically paid through your network or whatever, but that's where the money comes from, right? And to say otherwise is just plain dishonest. So that's all I wanted to say on that subject. Last year was one of the worst years of my life. Not to be negative, don't want this to be negative. I just want to explain another situation that happened. I'd lost my job. There were people, where I used to work that were high on cocaine. They'd come to work. They'd come to work sober, or straight, or whatever you want to call it, and they'd all go off somewhere for lunch. And they'd come back and they'd either be sort of depressed or sort of like not fully focused, or they'd all be laughing at the stupidest little jokes. And yeah, I wish they'd introduced drug testing, because there's a lot of people that wouldn't be working then now. And the funny thing was, I found out recently, in fact, from someone who still works doing what I was doing, same location, different company. 3 months after I left, the troublemakers left. The people that raised opposition to me, they hadn't worked there as long as I had, but they decided to leave. 3 months after that, my boss leaves. Oh no, he got set up and sacked. He moved interstate apparently, but then apparently moved back here. I don't know what the story is there. But what did he do? What happened? Oh, that's right. The company no longer exists as an entity in Adelaide because they were bought out by a parent company. And now, this is what I heard recently. What I heard recently was that the company is only paying people $14 an hour. Now, I realize in America that's probably quite a lot, but in Australia, I had worked my way up to the point where I was getting $23 an hour on like a public holiday or something like that. Normal day, just over $22 an hour. And the hours were good, were great. I could be clearing, after tax, probably $700 a week. So this was good. Because of the nature of the position, sometimes you have to bend the law a little bit. They need people to work there, but the law in Australia is that you can't work any more than 8 days in a row, or 8 days straight without a break, a day off or something like that. So yeah, the hours were there, good rate of pay. You had plenty of work, not a problem. Now they're paying people $14 an hour, Australian dollars an hour, and the woman that I spoke to is only getting 3 hours. 3 hours, I don't know whether that was a day or a week. Probably a week. It'd probably be 3 hours after a after a football game or something like that. And you can't mess around. You've got to get in and just do the work. Whereas what was happening is, when I was working there, the policy was you work until it got done, and it had to be done. It had to be immaculate, and it had to be spotless. Now it's like you've got 3 hours, and bang, you can't joke around. It's all bang, 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 very quick. And to me, I mean, to be working for nearly $10 less an hour, to not get the hours, so 14 by 3, so it's 24, so $38, and then that's taxed. So if I had to work after midnight, the way I work it out is, if I have to work after midnight, I'll have to catch a taxi home. It would cost me $50 to catch a taxi home from the city. $38 in a shift is not going to cover that. And it's just, these companies get away with it. They get away with, because there are people that will work that, the people that will tolerate that, because the alternative is not to have a job. And I was treated really badly. I mean, there's quite a few people saying that my mood would change while I was working there, and the work was beneath me anyway, really. And of course, the bosses would they'd sit in the office all day, and yet they wanted to say that they were working harder than I was. And I just think, I was having stomach problems. I didn't report any of that, and the back problems, and I would have triple blisters, blisters upon blisters upon blisters, from walking on blisters, but not having the day off. And then they tried to tell me, oh, it's because you're not wearing, it's a footwear issue. But they wanted people to wear black shoes, dress shoes, excuse me, but still walk around and do all this sort of stuff. And you were walking, like you could imagine a huge football oval, and you're walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, getting this, getting that, carrying huge garbage bags filled with plastic cups and food scraps and you know what, back and forth, having to go on your hands and knees to scrub stuff. So yeah, I ended up losing my job. Then I thought there was a job offer with somebody who I had considered a friend, and they offered me a fair amount of money, and that fell through. So, and I was very, very disappointed and let down by that. The other thing was that I did have a benefactor. It was only a small amount of money, And I promised them that I wouldn't mention it at all. But when it comes to full disclosure, you might as well tell the truth. It's just a small amount of money that tided me over till I got a rather large tax return. This year's tax return, I don't think I'll get one at all. But it depends on what the accountant can come up with. But I didn't earn a whole lot. The real gem that made last year not a total write-off was passing university. And the funny thing was, everybody came out of the woodwork to congratulate me and things when I graduated, and I was very grateful for that, because it was a positive experience in an otherwise negative year. And then this year, because I'm still recovering from the stuff that's going on, some people can bounce back very quickly. I don't. Then to have people publicly attack me, I've had to sever links with people. I found out about their criminal records, but I couldn't say anything publicly. I didn't mention names, so I just didn't. What was the other thing? Yeah, I couldn't mention names and things like that. Then there were other people that accused me of not having a go, not working hard enough, not trying and stuff. And you apply for these jobs, and the HR people don't even email you back saying, I'm sorry, or thanks, we've got your name on file, or whatever excuse they use not to actually physically tell you to come in and they give you money in exchange for the work that you're doing. And yeah, that's disappointing. It's a challenge and it's frustrating. But to have people attack me after I've had the worst year of my life is lower than low. And once again, I'm not going to mention names, and one of the reasons is this, and I need to make this clear. It's not about being scared of these people, because these people are small. They're nothing, all right? But imagine this. You're walking down a path, a sidewalk, or a footpath, or whatever you want to call it, and you're dressed in your most immaculate clothing. Your shoes are highly polished or buffed. You're wearing either, depending on your gender, a nice pair of dress pants or your best skirt with a jacket, and you're dressed to impress. Anyway, you're walking down this pathway, and in the middle of the pathway you see like a big brown mess. And you think to yourself, well, it could be chocolate, it could be mud, or it could be something else entirely. Now, you've got a choice. You can either get on your hands and knees and pull out your magnifying glass, and you closely examine this brown muck. And you might notice there's a few flies buzzing around it because it's giving off a bit of a smell. So you think, well, it's not really chocolate. It's not really mud. It must be the other stuff. Or, and this is the other choice. The other choice is you don't have to get down to that level. You don't have to dirty your clothes. What happens is you recognize the muck for what it is, and then you walk around it, or you step over it, or you bypass it. That's why I'm doing these videos. It's about you recognizing, me and you recognizing there's a certain kind of behavior that is inappropriate and unacceptable. And when you recognize that, you think, hang on, this is that behavior that Shane was talking about. This is the behavior that I shouldn't be associating myself with or dealing with or bothering with. And you have to make a choice. Do you cut these people out of your life or not? Or whether you can still have them as friends in your friends list or whatever, but maybe not want to follow their stuff. I've had to unfollow quite a few people. Excuse me once again. Over the views of various things that people are talking about. There's a lot of stuff that's I don't think it's really controversial, but some people will justify the worst human acts imaginable. It's just pure hate. Doesn't matter what side of politics you're on, doesn't matter what your religion is, or whether you got no religion at all, whatever your views happen to be. Somebody on the other side will be posting stuff, and you'll do it too. I get caught up in it sometimes. You share stuff, and you realise, hang on, this is hate speech against other people. I'm not promoting censorship or anything like that. It's just that thing where you got to stop and think, is this hate speech? Is this hate? Is this going to do this other person any good? Is this actually educating other people? I've seen people defend the worst of the worst, and you would think that if you didn't want to be associated with a certain group of people, or a certain mindset, or a certain attitude, that you would distance yourself from it. You'd sidestep the muck. Because if you're going to be on your hands and knees examining the muck, you're going to get your clothes dirty. That stank, the dirt, is now on you. And then you start spreading it everywhere. Interesting metaphor, but I hope you get the point. And you can worry about who's saying what, who's doing what, and worry about individuals. It's a waste of time. It's a mindset. It's everywhere. Everybody engages in a certain level of this stuff. It's all varying degrees. It's all, nobody's blameless. I'm not blameless. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. What I don't do is I don't kick people when they're down. I don't know how I can help people. I try to leave encouraging comments or that sort of thing. But that's all I wanted to say for this video, and it has been a rather long one. I have been monitoring the time, barely. But I want to thank everybody for clicking like and subscribing and sharing this video. The next topic is going to be a little bit more structured and hopefully be a lot less, lot shorter in time, I meant. Anyway, thank you for tuning in and watching the show, and I will catch you next time. Hopefully I won't leave it for another week. I'll get it done a lot quicker, but I've got to take a lot more notes and things. But once again, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you had a pleasant experience with this particular video, something to think about. I'm not harping on my past. I'm slowly but surely rebuilding my life. I've had to rebuild it from the ground up. as you would too if the rug had been pulled out from underneath you. And it does happen. I hope that it never happens to you. Some people will never ever know what that experience is like, but the only way is up. When you're at your hit rock bottom, you can only go up. Anyway, that's all from me today. Look after yourselves, and yeah, please leave a comment if you agree or disagree, if you have any other advice or things like that, or even topics that you'd like me to talk about in this format. And I will do my best to contribute them record them and upload them in video format. You can see why I benefit from editing a lot better, but my throat's dry, that's why I was coughing a lot. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Thursday in the States, but it doesn't matter. Bye.